"Move aside, old man," the voice rang out, cocky and sharp, full of muscle-backed arrogance, echoing through the SEAL gym like a warning shot. But the janitor didn't look up, didn't flinch, just kept sweeping around the wrestling mats with quiet, practiced strokes like he didn't hear or didn't care, and that made the young SEAL angrier, stepping forward, his boots squeaking on the polished floor as he added louder, "I said get lost, we've got work to do," and still, nothing, just the soft whisper of bristles on concrete, until finally the old man straightened, slow and creaking, his spine stiff with age and memory, and turned to face him, calm eyes pale blue, jaw unshaken, like the glare of a man who'd stared down worse things than insults. And the silence that followed was awkward, too long, too tense, as the young SEAL, a fresh recruit named Slate, sneered and laughed. "What, you forget your hearing aid, Gramps?" Drawing a few cheap chuckles from the others nearby. But still the old man said nothing, not a word, until Slate shoved the broom aside and said, "This is a gym for warriors, not nursing home rejects." And the broom clattered across the floor, the noise sharp like a trigger, and the old man bent to pick it up slow, steady, and as he did, the edge of his collar slipped just enough to expose the back of his neck, and one of the senior men watching from the weights caught a glimpse of something strange, a faded tattoo, nearly lost to time just above the spine, and his face changed, hardening, because it wasn't just ink. It was a coiled sea serpent wrapped around a trident, a mark not worn by ordinary men, but by the ghost units that existed before SEAL ever meant something to headlines. A symbol whispered about in Black Ops briefings and War Museum backrooms. And that man, Master Chief Thorne, stood slowly, stepping away from the squat rack like a man walking into sacred space. Because he'd only ever seen that symbol once, in a declassified photo from Korea, back when underwater demolition was done with knives and wire and silent courage, and now it was inked into the janitor's skin, real, weathered, alive, and Slate, still puffed with pride, didn't see the shift in the room, didn't notice the silence thickening, didn't register the way the other men were now backing away like something holy had been disturbed, and he kept going louder now. "Maybe we get you a new jumpsuit, huh? With a bib and some Velcro shoes, what do you think, boys?" But Thorne was moving fast now, cutting across the floor like a missile locked on, and his voice hit like steel when he barked, "That's enough! Petty officer," freezing Slate in place, "you don't speak to Mr. Ford that way." And the use of Mr. landed like a slap. Formal, reverent, and Slate's face twisted in confusion. Stammering, "Master Chief, he's just—" But Thorne was already looking at the back of Ford's neck again, confirming what he saw, and with barely a whisper said, "No, he's not." And the gym shifted, the temperature dropping, respect spreading like wildfire as men put the pieces together. His silence, his stillness, his dignity, and now his mark. And Thorne reached for his comm, called the base commander, voice tight with urgency. "Sir, I need you at the SEAL gym. Right now. It's Vernon Ford. Yeah, him. I saw the tattoo. It's real." And on the other end, the commander went silent, then simply said, "Don't let him leave." And minutes later, the gym doors burst open, and in strode Commander Jacobs with 2 Marines in dress uniform behind him. The room snapping to attention not because of rank, but because of the weight in his step. And he walked straight past everyone, past Slate, past Thorne, and stopped in front of the janitor who now stood quietly, broom in hand, back straight, eyes steady. And without hesitation, Jacobs snapped a salute. Sharp, clean, held it, then spoke loud and clear. "Mr. Vernon Ford, I owe you the deepest apology this base can give." And the 2 Marines flanked him and saluted too. And Jacobs continued, "Before he swept these floors, He swam into enemy harbors with nothing but explosives strapped to his chest. Before you ran obstacle courses, he crawled through minefields in the dark. Before the SEALs were even a name, he was part of the Mako unit, men who were never officially acknowledged, whose missions were wiped from every record. But they did the impossible again and again, and he was one of them. And around the gym, men stood straighter, hearts pounding, slate frozen in shame. And the commander's voice never wavered as he turned to the room and said, "This man helped shape the legacy you claim to represent, and you will show him the respect earned in blood, not printed on patches." Then glared at Slate and added, "You will write a formal apology. You will mop this floor next to him for a month, and you will learn who paved the path you strut down." And he turned back to Ford, eyes softening. "We never forgot you. We just didn't know you were still watching." And Ford, finally breaking his silence, looked at Slate, not with anger, but with deep disappointment, and said, "Strength isn't in your chest, son. It's in how you carry those beside you." Then turned, broom in hand, and walked away while the gym watched in reverent silence. And later, when the sun had fallen and the lights dimmed, Slate found him outside by the supply closet, gripping his apology letter like it weighed 100 pounds, and managed to say, "I didn't know. I'm sorry." And Ford just nodded, not cold, not forgiving, just honest, and said, "Then be better. That's the only apology that counts," and walked back inside, where the mop waited, and a legend swept the corners of a gym that would never forget the man they once called just the janitor.